On our last page, we are going to match some equations with some slopes and y-intercepts. So on the left side, you see 5 equations that are all in that ax plus by equals c. In other words, that standard form. And on the right side, you see an m and a y-intercept, which indicates that you are looking at a slope and a y-intercept. And we want to match the equations with the slope and the y-intercept that goes with the equations. Now there's some strategies in which we can make this connection, and I want you to think about what you might do if you were solving this right now. And in fact, maybe you want to go ahead and do it yourself right now. And in any case, I'd like you to pause the video right now so that you can think about a strategy that you would use. And if you want to continue that strategy and actually figure it out and then come back and check your answers, that's even better. So I'm going to give you a chance right now to pause the video. All right, so coming back and thinking about some strategies that we might use, there are a couple that come to mind. One that I always find useful is graphing the equations. So if you graphed each one of the equations on the left and then looked at the graph to see what the y-intercept and the slope was, that could be very useful. I think Desmos would be the best graphing calculator to use, which is usually what we use because the equations are not in intercept form, they're in that standard form, which Desmos works really well with. The thing that I am going to do though is I am going to solve each one of these for y and put them into their slope-intercept form, because once I do that I can very easily see what the slope and the y-intercept is and then match the equation. So those are 2 strategies, and there are others as well. In fact, the ones that we talked about on the previous page, many of them can transfer over here. But I'm going to use that particular strategy, so I'm going to just write that down. So solve the equations for y. In other words, y equals mx plus b, to find the slope and y-intercept. All right, so let's look at equation number 1, which is negative 4x plus 3y equals 3. We've done this a number of times. I hope you feel like you're getting better at it, and that is to get y by itself, solve it for y. So the first step is we'll move that negative 4x over to the right side by adding 4x to both sides to undo the subtraction, or to undo the negative. So that leaves us with 3y is equal to 3 plus 4x. Remember, we keep those 2 terms separate because one has an x and one does not, so they are not like terms. And then we're going to undo the 3 times y by dividing. Undo multiplication, we divide. We did this on the first page and practiced this. So remember, when you're dividing that 2-term expression, 3 plus 4x by 3, that means you divide each of those terms by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then 4 divided by 3 is going to be 1.3, repeating as a decimal. We're just going to keep it as a fraction because I believe up top that's how the slopes are being left anyway. So we're talking about a y-intercept of 1, and we're talking about a slope of positive 4/3. So if we look at that, let's see which that matches up with. So a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of positive 4/3 would be right here. So that matches up with equation number 1. All right, so we can do that. So that would be slope and y-intercept that comes up in B. Okay, so that's 1 down. Let's change up the colors as we go along here. So let's go over to here. So equation number 2 is 12x minus 4y equals 8. We're going to follow that same process for solving for y. It's just we have to remember what we're doing with the x here first. So it's a positive 12x, so to undo it, we will subtract it from both sides. So that cancels out to 0. Bring down the negative 4y is equal to 8 minus 12x. We'll keep those terms separate. And then we undo multiplication. Remember, this is negative 4 times y. So we divide both sides by negative 4, which should mean 1y, or just y. And then on the other side, we divide both of those parts by negative 4. 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3, so positive 3x. So once again, we've got a y-intercept of -2, and we have a slope of 3. So y-intercept of -2 and a slope of 3 looks like it matches up right here. So this goes with equation number 2. So E matches up with equation number 2. All right, I'm gonna have to get a little bit more condensed here, maybe as I solve these other ones. So equation number 3 was 8x plus 2y equals 16. Solve this one. So we'll subtract 8x from both sides. Get 2y is equal to 16 minus 8x. Dividing both sides by 2. Get y is equal to 16 divided by 2, which is 8, and a minus 8 divided by 2 would be a minus 4x. So the y-intercept of 8 and a slope of -4. So look up top here, y-intercept of 8 and a slope of -4. Looks like right here. So that would be equation number 3. So that matches up with D. All right, we keep moving. Equation number 4. We have something a little bit different. Got some fractions here. So -x plus 1/3 y is equal to 1/3. Okay. So let's add that 1x over to the right side of the equation to cancel out the minus x. That cancels out to 0. Bring down what's left. 1/3 y is equal to 1/3 plus x. Okay. And then, okay, so in this case, it's 1/3 times y. And so we certainly could divide both sides by 1/3. However, the easier way of thinking about that, probably when we have that fraction, when you divide by a fraction, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So really the best way of canceling out that 1/3 is to multiply both sides by 3. All right, that's the same thing as dividing by 1/3, is to multiply by 3. That cancels out the 3, so you're left, or the 1/3, so you're left with 1y. And then we have to, just like dividing both of those terms by 3, we have to essentially use the distributive property here and multiply both terms by 3. So 3 times 1/3 is 1, 3/3 is 1, and then 3 times x is 3x. So that's what that would look like. So now we have a y-intercept of 1, and we have a slope of +3. So y-intercept of 1 and a slope of 3. Looks like that matches up here. So that would be equation number 4. So 4 matches up with A. And, you know, we could do that last one. I guess given the space here, process of elimination, you can solve that one if you would like. But we're just going to go ahead and call that one. So that must match up with C. We could verify that. So equation 5 matches up with C. So like I said, that's probably how I would go about doing this problem. There are different methods, and graphing them would be one. So you could certainly check your answers as well using